Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to get a few planty things done that I've been putting off before my week starts, so let's get right into it. So if you couldn't tell by the title of today's video, I am dealing with algae again, which is kind of normal for me because I do have a lot of clear vessels, and because of that, the light creates a lot of algae on my plant containers, like this Monstera albo right here. She has so much algae in the container, and I think that's going to stunt the growth a little bit. I think I read that algae can actually make its way into the roots, and I'm not sure if that's what's happening, but I have had a few plants where they've had a lot of algae and then the roots turn green after that. Like they go from white to green. So I'm guessing that could be an issue, so I definitely want to take care of that, because this plant actually just put out the cutest little leaf right here. It was unfurling for a while, and I guess I forgot to check on it, but look at it. I just spilled water all over my notebook. I recently had to cut off 2 leaves off of this plant. They were the leaves that I propagated originally because they had some weird nastiness going on in like this, can you see that? In this area right here. So recently I actually made my own like DIY plant wipes. So when the panorama first started and we couldn't find any wipes anywhere, I would buy cleaning product and get these special kind of paper towels. Then I would heat up some boiling water and pour some cleaning product and then pour the boiling water on here. So obviously I didn't use a cleaning product because I'm not cleaning my counters with these wipes. I put insecticidal soap, a good amount of it in here. That's why I'm not touching them, because I don't want my hands to smell like that for the rest of the day. I don't really want to touch these, but and I have these cute cleaning wipes. But these wipes are the ones I've been using lately just to keep my plants dust free and spider mite free. Honestly, right now I feel like every plant has spider mites. Every time I walk by my big Monstera over there, I feel like I'm getting spider mites all over my clothes because it's just that season. If you guys want me to show you how to make these easy plant wipes, just give me a thumbs up and I'll make like a little short or something like that showing you how to make these wipes. Honestly, it's much more convenient than spraying the plant and then it's dripping all over the floor. You have to run, grab a napkin, or even spraying the napkin. Like, that's just too much work. But anyways, this algae is so bad and I need to take care of it ASAP, because after seeing this leaf, this plant does give me a little hope that maybe I can get a really good albo going. How exciting would that be? Another plant that has a lot of algae is my Hoya serpens. And I didn't think it was affecting the plant, but lately this little yellow leaf right here is probably the 4th one in the past couple of weeks. Get you out of there. Oh my god, she just needs to be rinsed off. She needs to be flushed out. I'm gonna dump all of the plants that have algae and really rinse them off and rinse the pond off, and probably just repot them in the same pots. But hopefully I can find some pots to put them in. I swear this plant used to be in a different pot. Well, it was in this pot, in another like cover pot, and I didn't have to deal with this problem, but I've left it out of the cover pot for so long that it's began to form disgusting algae, so we really need to get rid of that. I see another leaf right here starting to yellow, so I definitely don't want that happening to this plant. I've had my little Hoya serpens for so long and I would die if something happened to it. I love this plant. We do have some new growth though, so that's exciting. Like these 2, that's sticking up right there and over there. So she should be good once we give her a nice little clean off and repot. I also wanted to repot and properly stake my Philodendron verrucosum. Not the big one. The big one is doing extremely well. I don't want to spill this everywhere, but this is the last leaf that came out of my Philodendron verrucosum. It's so big and beautiful. See if I can show you the back of it. Look at how red it is under there. I love it so much. And also, I think I was going on about a growth point on this plant. I thought that little thing that grew out was a growth point. What is it? It's browning. Ew, feels gross. But it's clearly not a growth point, because recently, if you see that growth point right under it, that has popped out. And I'm so excited because this plant is growing after I chopped it completely back almost. I had only left this bottom leaf right here on the plant, and all my propagations died. So I am really happy to be seeing this plant grow so well. And then this is my small verrucosum that I want to repot as well. This actually doesn't have any algae in it, but the way it is potted up, I just watered this today and the moss pole just sucks all of the water out of it. So I would definitely like to get it potted up. Just because it takes more effort to water this plant, I have to think about it a lot more because it's dry in 24 hours and I can't be doing that anymore. So we're gonna repot him. It makes me so happy because although I do have a bigger varicosum now, this was my first varicosum that I spent, I think, a little over $100 on, just for me to almost ruin the entire thing as soon as I got it. And also, when I got this varicosum, I wasn't really aware that there were bigger varicosum. I thought that I would be able to grow this one as big as the one that I have in my greenhouse, but I don't think that's the case. According to Etsy, there are large varicosum and smaller varicosum, and this is definitely one of the smaller ones. I'm not sure if I can mature these leaves, but I definitely will try. That does include being better about moss poles, which is very hard for me to do. Anyways, so those are the plants that I'm going to be repotting today. And then I wanted to propagate my Hoya Crimson Princess, specifically this one. And she hasn't grown a leaf since I put her in here. She actually has a leaf that's yellowing in the pot. I am going to be chopping this plant completely back because I do want to have some Hoya propagations. I don't know why I love having Hoya propagating in water. It's just something I love to watch. So we are going to be cutting this entire plant back. But before we do so, should we propagate this first or should we repot these first? I think we should propagate this first. This is such a pretty plant though. I have a pretty picture of this up on my Instagram. And also, dealing with semi-hydro, I really do like to restart plants. Like if I could, I would just buy a bunch of propagations of every plant, root them in water and switch them to leca or pond. But with a lot of plants, you guys see me rinse off roots and then transfer them to a semi-hydro substrate. But just know, I would always rather start with my own clean water roots. But that's just not always practical, you know? So this right here, I'm gonna chop so it's longer, so it fits into an actual propagation bottle. That's what that looks like. No variegation on that one. And right here, that's what that one looks like. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I don't want it to go flying on the floor again. That's what this one looks like. Oh, these are so pretty. I'm so excited. I'm just gonna cut it right here. So we have two crusty ones so far. Get the dead leaf out of here. Oh, I keep cutting through it because it's so soggy. Ew, 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 ew. It's not cutting. I'm gonna ruin anything else. That's this cutting right here. So pretty. More green ones. So we have all of these cuttings right here. Now we're just gonna go in the kitchen so I can rinse off those plants with algae, rinse off these propagations, rinse off the substrate so we can get to repotting and putting props in water. Let's go. That literally took forever, but first we are going to put the Hoya propagations into some water after putting some rooting hormone on them just to get them out of the way. I do still have my busted prop station, like the middle one has been gone forever now, but I am gonna put as many Hoya props in this as I can just so they're in one spot all together. I'm just going to open this and pour some in the cap to make it easier for myself. And I'll put it right there. Okay. I'm gonna do this one first. I kind of had to shove them down there because some of the cuttings are a little shorter than I expected. I'm just gonna cut these two leaves off because they're ugly. Here's that little one leafer. Boop. Here are all my Hoya Crimson Princess from that leggy plant that I had. I cannot wait to watch these grow roots. I will keep you updated. Okay, now for the fun part, repotting plants. I actually really love repotting plants. I probably shouldn't do it as often as I do, but when I was rinsing off my Hoya serpens, I realized that the root system is so small, and I really want to put it in like a tiny pot, but not that tiny. And then the other one I rinsed off was this Monstera albo. I didn't really look at the roots, but they look okay. I did think this plant had a pest on it, but it looks okay. Let's repot her first. I did grab this jar instead of the one that she was in, which was this one, only because this jar has a hole on it right here so I can flush it. And yes, I am into flushing my plants now just because I think it would make for an overall better experience for the plant and the substrate if I'm able to clean it out. So yeah, if I can find a jar with a hole and the plant fits, that's where it's going. Okay, I put some leca on the bottom just to save some substrate because pond is expensive. Okay, so I filled it up about that much before I put the plant in. Let's see if that's gonna work. Let me see how that's looking. Oh yeah, that looks fine. Okay, now I'm just gonna backfill. No! I caught it with my leg. Okay, this is her all potted up, mostly leca on the bottom, and then the rest is filled with pon. I like it so much better in this pot now. I could have given it a moss pole, but I think it'll be fine like this for now. So I found a pot for my Hoya serpens. Let's see. I think this would be so adorable. So we're doing it. His pot was way too big for him. I think he was in this pot right here. Look how big this is for these little roots. We're not doing that anymore. So let's start by filling it. Oh, not that much. I'm just gonna drop the roots in. Now I'm just gonna start backfilling. I really love round pots. I need to get some more though because, oh no. Let me give it a little pat down. Does it look like he'll be okay in here? Let me know below if you have a better suggestion or you think I potted him in a pot too small because I have no idea. But I just know Hoya like to be more root bound, so I'm just trying to give him a better setup. It's so tiny though. This pot is the cutest thing ever. I forgot where I even got it from. I've had it for so long. I'm just gonna put a little bit of water. Not too much. I know you're not supposed to repot your plants that often, but sometimes you're not as knowledgeable and then you can get them into a better setup and then you're more inspired. Like this little setup inspires me. Now I want more round pots to create a little bubbly jungle in here. This pot also has like a honeycomb print on it. It's so cute. Where did I get you from? Totally forgot that I wanted to tell you. So that little honeycomb pot, the only reason why it was available is because I just knocked my cactus out of it. Why did I say knocked my cactus out of it? I took my cactus out of it and I could not believe the roots. Let me show you. First of all, look at how long this cactus is. Look at this thing. And then look at the roots. They were so root bound. Okay, and lastly, I'm just gonna pot up my Philodendron verrucosum really quickly. And I think I'm gonna flip over the moss pole because right now there's none at the top and all the moss is at the bottom. So I'm gonna flip that over. Let me just get it off of the moss pole first. Imagine it would have snapped. Oh, I think it might have grown into the moss pole, guys. Look at it. Oops. It's a little stuck in there. This is what she looks like, her little root system. So cute. And I'm gonna pot her in. Yes, right in there. Just adding a few pieces of leca so it's not as flimsy on the bottom where there wasn't any substrate. Then I'm just going to put it in the opposite way, so now all the moss is on top. This is one of my DIY moss poles, so it has all of the zip ties. I'm just gonna turn it around so the leaves don't get damaged. Okay. Now I'm just putting the plant in here against the moss pole. My camera died, but I did end up repotting my philodendron verrucosum. I can't wait to see her grow even taller. She's currently putting out a new leaf, so that's exciting. That does bring me to the end of today's video. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until my next video, bye guys.